Brotherhood was good. This your boy, my brother 215, making this video post Raw, which is something I never do, but I felt the need to because I really enjoyed this episode. And this might be a hot take because a lot of people glazed last week, and last week was good, but I feel like last week catered towards more of the casual fan or the new fans versus the diehards versus the ones that's been here and the celebrities. This week's Raw, like, first of all, starting off the first match, like, I don't care about anything else. The first match, Penta versus Chad Gable, cooked. Graps for days. And I'm so glad that New Day Rey Mysterio match got scrapped and it didn't happen last week, because this was the perfect welcome party for him, for the people that wasn't aware of his game, the people that wasn't aware, that didn't see him anywhere else and didn't see him in AEW, didn't see him in CML, didn't see him in Lucha Underground. This is the perfect introduction for him, because that was a good match. It wasn't nothing too crazy. It was straight wrestling. Showed you exactly what he can do. Showed you exactly the type of wrestler you're gonna get from him. And it was perfect. And he wasn't in the LWO, which made it even better. Like, nobody got involved. This was straight one-on-one. And shout out to Gable. Because, Lord, again, I said it during the match. I said it during my live stream. Gable was the best first opponent for Penta, like, by far. And I swear, if I could find anybody, I could search through the entire interwebs, I would not find one person that didn't like that match. It's probably possible that you probably would see one or two, but it'll be rare. But that match fucking cooked. Lord. Oh man, that was a good start. And it was like, damn, I ain't think it was gonna top this. But we finally, I'm jumping all over the place, but I'm perfectly fine with that because I like this to be all over the place. We finally got the ring general in the ring during Raw. Because, you know, last week, I'm going to keep comparing these two, because last week we didn't see Gunther in the ring. We just had backstage promo, and that was it, you know? Which is kind of crazy because you had Cody in the ring. You had Cody getting glazed by The Rock, getting kissed by The Rock, getting hugged by The Rock, talking about how he's the face of the company. He's the quarterback. But nothing about Gunther, who's the champion on Raw. That don't make sense to me. Like, you have a champion, you put your champion over, especially if it's his show. It's supposed to be his show. Then you put him over. But they didn't do that. But this week, yes, we got a good segment from him. He's actually going back to cooking on the mic and talking his shit like he should. And the boy main event Jey Uso answered his call because he was trying to figure out who was coming up to step up for that title. Like, who? Because it's at first it seemed like nobody was really worried about him or his title. Like he mentioned Roman. Like he mentioned CM Punk. But Jay answered the call. And, you know, at first Jay, he kind of killed me a little bit, because I'm not a fan of the cadence that he does when he cuts his promo and got to get everybody to yeet in between it. But once Gunther started digging at him and told him that he's not on Gunther's level, he's just a tag team wrestler, yeah, that's when that dog came out. That's when he stopped worrying about that motherfucking yeeting shit, even told the crowd to chill on the yeet. And he started talking his shit. So we about to get Gunther versus Jay at Saturday night's main event, which I will be there. in San Antonio on the 25th. So I can't wait for that one. I can't wait. Let's throw something in here real quick because I don't know if a lot of people was paying attention or they heard. But Karrion Kross and The Miz had a backstage segment. And Karrion Kross mentioned that the Wyatt Six was moved to SmackDown. So for anybody that thought that we were going to get the Wyatt Six versus the Judgment Day, you're sadly mistaken. You are wrong now. So now who does he go after? What do they have planned for the Wyatt Six next? Because all they've been doing is going after groups that turned on their partners or their team or their faction or whatever you want to call it. And we thought it was going to be the Judgment Day. So that is no longer happening because the Wyatt Six is now on SmackDown. So who on SmackDown do the Wyatt Six go after? I don't know. I can't think of anybody because I know for a fact they ain't going after the YN bloodline because that'd be a fool's mistake. That wouldn't even make sense because they would get dog walked. I feel like they're already in a decline. So putting them against the YN bloodline, Solo and them, if y'all don't know, that ain't good for them. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of irrelevant. Shout out to Obafemi, who they had in the crowd. The NXT champion. Shout out to him. Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. Lyra was my pick, and Lyra showed up. I'm going to shout out the one good spot about that whole match was the suplex off the ropes. I'm sorry, off the apron onto the floor. Lord, that spot, I know it hurt Dakota. Dakota tried, but I already knew that wasn't going to happen, man. If anybody thought that Dakota was going to win just because she does all that crying on social media talking about how long she's been here, you got to think about how long you've been hurt too, sweetheart. We need more in ring because even when you was with Damage Control, we barely saw you. You barely did anything. And when Bayley left, you was just a translator. Like a lot of people like to throw out this person deserved this person deserves that. Let's throw out who deserves what when they actually do something in the ring. Not just because you feel sorry for them, because you like what they're doing in the ring. I feel like that just makes too much sense. Or is it just me? I can't be the only one that feel like someone that puts on a banger match need to be someone who needs to be in a title picture. Like, I get it. She's there. Cool. I got it. But you already knew based off of what Lyra had been doing in the ring. She even put on a banger match with Io to qualify to be in the finals. I was there. I saw it live. That match cooked. Lyra earned so much of my respect because of that match. And she went toe-to-toe with Io. I loved it. And Lyra got the dub. Much deserved. I mean, if you didn't know that she was going to get that based off of the fact that they was pushing her so far and so hard when she first got called up, then you're not paying attention. You just using you're focusing too much on the emotional side versus what's actually happening, what's actually in front of you. Do we need to mention Sammy and The Miz? Because that match was so short. That's probably like a 3-4 minute match. It was like a waste. They just threw that in there just because. They just threw that in there just because. Because it's like, why are you here, Sammy? Like, Sammy didn't need to win. He beat The Miz. Hopefully, we can get a dog out of Miz afterwards because he kind of pointed out that he really wasn't shit and he lost to him. So hopefully he's done with Karrion Kross and we actually get the real heel Miz that we know and love or hate, depending on how you look at Miz. But whatever. Mommy is back on top. And shout out to her. And when she was cutting this promo, just, letting everybody know that she was back on top, I just knew Becky Lynch was coming out. Because if we don't remember, Becky was on the promos for Raw on Netflix, but for some reason, we still haven't seen her. But I was shocked to see my queen show up and say that she had a conversation with Adam Pearce about the transfer portal. So yeah, the queen is now going to be or is on Raw. It really wasn't confirmed yet, but when she mentioned the transfer portal and they mentioned that the YS6 was on SmackDown, I'm assuming she's officially on Raw, because you know for a fact they don't want to give her and Tiffany a straight up one-on-one because she would dog walk Tiffany. Everyone knows that. That briefcase was the best thing that happened to Tiffany. And it's a reason why Nia did not get a fair shake to get her rematch. But it is what it is. Also, why the fuck was Bayley there? Why was Bayley on Raw? Why was Bayley in the crowd? Why did Bayley get involved in Rhea and Nia's business? BBL Bayley, mind yours. Stay your ass on SmackDown and focus on Tiffany Stratton in your title match next week. And last but certainly not least, the street fight between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. That match was chaotic as fuck. Chaotic as fuck. It was exactly what we thought it was going to be. A street fight. They was all over that damn arena. Everywhere. And the spot where Damian grabbed Finn and threw him over the rail and they both hit that damn table, that spot was nuts. And I'm laughing so hard because right after that they went to commercial for us in the US. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, I know for a fact the $22 subscription obviously don't stop ads. But for me, I got ads. But come back, you got Finn in the damn stretcher with a neck brace. And that shit had me weak. But Priest wasn't having that shit. He wasn't playing that. Nah, that match needed to finish. So he dragged his ass, pushed that damn stretcher all the way to the ring. Finn goes rolling out. And that shit was hilarious. Oh, man. That was a good match. Like, can't even lie. Damian got the dub after a lot more chaos. Like the beautiful moonsault from JD McDonough. Got to give him his flowers because that moonsault was beautiful. Finn magically healed and no longer had neck issues and hit a coup de grace after getting helped up on the top rope by Carlito and JD. But at the end of the day, that match was so fucking good. Like, I enjoyed that match. Like I said in the beginning, I enjoyed this episode of Raw more than last week's, more than the debut. The debut was very good, but for wrestling-wise, like focusing on wrestling, focusing on the actual champion, I enjoyed this episode of Raw better than last week's. It is what it is.